I'm a pretty fun guy.
Only shooting stars break the mold.
Hello everybody and welcome to Brawl Stars. I'm Amy the Amazonian and today I'm playing the Mycotyrant. As a disclaimer, this video is sponsored as part of the MTG Ambassador program. They sent me a bunch of physical cards and a bunch of gems and like draft tokens I can use in Arena, so thank you so much to Wizards of the Coast and the Ambassador program. If you're looking to get cards from the new set, Lost Caverns of Ixalan, I also have a link in the description going to Wizards' website where you can find those cards. So the Mycotyrant. Who is the Mycotyrant? The Mycotyrant is the big brain who controls all of the fungus. It's actually just the name of a collective. And what you're seeing here is kind of the mouthpiece of the collective. It is the grand fungus being toted around by other grand fungi that commands the rest of them, though they are all part of the same group. And for this card, we're gonna be turning things into fungus by putting them in our graveyard. The Mycotyrant at the end of your turn makes one of these fungus tokens for each permanent card that was put into your graveyard during the turn, which can range from maybe just one, from you sacrificing something, to a dozen of them because you did a ton of self-milling during the turn. And my deck is mostly focused on self-mill. There's a little bit of sacrifice and reanimation built in as well, but for the most part, we're just tossing things into the graveyard. And it's great because it means that you end up with an army of fungi, and every fungus you get makes Mycotyrant bigger. And just as like a fun aside, if you want to build the Mycotyrant as a fungus deck, fungus and saplings deck, you can, but it will not be quite as powerful, even if you have cards like Slimefoot, which is fantastic since it generates more fungus for you. You do have to be very careful about, I'm a Golgari deck, I have access to powerful Golgari cards, and I'm going to be matching up against other powerful Golgari decks and similar things in the queue. So don't expect to go off as many times, but it will be all the more glorious when you do if you're focused on fungi. And this deck also has a lot of cards that you might not get to play otherwise, like Matzalantli, which cares about the number of things that you've put into your graveyard. Awesome. That's exactly what we're doing, so I got to put it into this deck. We have things that reanimate repeatedly, like Liliana. We have things that both come out, hurt your opponent, and then turn into a mass reanimation, Sheoldred here. And if we're making tons and tons of fungus, we may as well attack for a lot of damage with the Craterhoof Behemoth. There are lots of great cards here, starting with the ramp and self-mill over here in the 1 and 2 drop slots, going all the way up to, well, hey, you can get this into the graveyard pretty easily, can't you? And repeatable self-milling cards like Old Rutstein. I think Mycotyrant's a very fun card, though, and I think you're gonna love it as we take it into the queue. The First Sliver! Will it actually be a Sliver deck? Almost certainly not, but we're still gonna play up against them and see what they cascade into. I did play against an actual, factual First Sliver deck with slivers in it earlier today. So, you know, maybe, just maybe, they'll be playing everybody's favorite creature type, where everybody buffs everybody else. I make no promises, though. Ooh, we could go for the Priest here, maybe into a Tortoise, or Mycotyrant. I'm going to bring out the Priest. I don't expect them to be going super wide. And what's fun is we have a land that can mill us. We have a creature that can mill us. And then we also have Mycotyrant, who's just waiting patiently for that mill to happen. Cold Steel Heart, they ramp a little bit. Okay, that'll be coming in tapped. Do I want to go for Blossoming Tortoise or Mycotyrant? I think I'm going to go for the Blossoming Tortoise. We did mill a land! Nice! So we get the land, and I'm going to swing in with just the Kami of Bamboo Groves. If they go for like a board wipe, I can sacrifice this board using Priest of Forgotten Gods. This triggers, by the way, on enter the battlefield or attack. Did you not find another land? I did ramp on turn 1 with the Kami of Bamboo Groves, which is great. I tried to make sure that most of my ramp is permanent based. Almost everything in the deck is a permanent, so that does help. Ooh, no, they have a land. They have 4 mana here. Blossoming Tortoise is so pretty, too. Just look at this. They could have put Blossoming Tortoise in the Ixalan set, and I would have been very into it. Sheoldred's Edict. I have to sacrifice a non-token creature. Okay, goodbye, Kami of Bamboo Groves. Not the most fun or thrilling of creatures, but it'll do. Guess we have enough room here for Celestis into Mycotyrant. Play the Hive, it comes in tapped. Attack in with the Blossoming Tortoise. We're gonna mill 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. We did mill a land, so we get it out. That means that we are going to bring back 2 here. So we milled 2 permanents. Even though we brought one out of the graveyard, 2 permanents still hit our graveyard during that turn. And here comes the First Sliver. Now, very often, these just go into a board wipe. We'll see what it is. No, it's Wrenn and Realmbreaker. Wrenn and Realmbreaker hits the battlefield. Here comes the First Sliver. You got a land, you shocked it, and you're going to animate it. In response to the animation, because I want them to kill their First Sliver, I am going to activate this, sacrifice these 2, and it's very unlikely I'll have something I can play here, but that's fine. Yeah, it's like I don't have many 2-drops at instant speed. I just want to make sure that we are killing their commander rather than this land, because it's easier for me to attack. Get rid of this land. I see people are discussing who their favorite Pokemon of these types are. Nice. Oh, maybe do I have choices here? I'm going to crack open the Fabled Passage to get some black mana. I'm considering going for the Hive in Blossoming Tortoise. Maybe just a Wrenn and Seven. Really fill up that graveyard. Cruelty of Gix, Chapter 1. What's in your hand? Show me your secrets. Phyrexian Metamorph. I wouldn't mind getting one of those. I'm also going to go daytime, nighttime, nighttime, daytime, because I think that's 4 to activate. Yes, it is. Daytime, nighttime, nighttime, daytime. Perfect. Just keep on milling. I'm going to set a stop in my end step. Ugh, look at all of those beautiful triggers. We're going to grab Fabled Passage again. They're letting this hit. In end step, we make a bunch of friends, and we're going to destroy their land before they can use it, because this is a sacrifice effect. Also card advantage. Oh, hello, Yawgmoth. Next turn, we'll get to Tutor. I'm thinking maybe Mesmeric Orb. Let's really start milling ourselves. We know they have a Rhystic Study and Commit to Memory, though, so they can bounce a permanent or a spell that I cast. Oh, it's 3 to activate. You are so right. Sorry, I missed this. So Blossoming Tortoise, as a Mega Bear pointed out in chat, reduces the activated ability cost of lands, which means that this would have only cost 3 in a tap. And this would also have cost 3, and then the land attacking itself. Don't you love text on cards? They're saying, good game. Hi, good game also. I hope you like Fungus. I know I do. Good game. Enna Pall, 1000th Moon. This is kind of like the old Krenko. Not the one that taps, but the one that attacks. And I haven't run into one yet. This is going to be high power, buffing up, and attacking wide. I think that Enna Pall is probably running a lot of different Anthem effects, because the bigger Pall is, the more guys you get, and the more big you make both Pall and the guys, you're doing more damage. These little gnome tokens. Oh my gosh. Sorry, there's just something so cute about Metallic Mimic coming down and naming Gnome. I'm not waiting here. I'm just going to go ahead and Baleful Mastery that and swing in. Yeah, Abelfern was asking about this commander as a build. Well, we'll see how our opponent plays it. I'm sorry, I keep hitting you with removal, but I need to set up more mill before you start beating me up. I'm killing their stuff because I think they are going to be the early game threat. This feels like a much more Boros aggro, and that's always pretty scary. Yes, Enna Pall can't just be the gnomes attacking. But if you attack with Enna Pall or just another creature, should work out. Oh my god, Goblin Bombardment. I could get down my orb. Let's start going wide off Mycotyrant. Boop! Oh, does it count about +1/+1 counters? I actually thought it cared about counters. So Anthem effects aren't as big except to buff up the gnomes. But the +1/+1 counters, if you get them on her, are going to add up very quickly. Alright, so the graveyard is exiled. We could use Vraska to kill Pakal, or we could go for the Tortoise. Do I want to risk my opponent getting set up? No. No, I don't. I do know fear. So they can sacrifice in response to kill Vraska, but that's not the worst thing in the world for us because that's another permanent going into our graveyard. So I guess you really just want to beef up Pakal with some +1/+1s. You know what would be amazing with this? Like Cathar's Crusade, I feel like is the kind of buff you want on Enna Pall. Alright, Pakal, you're out. I've made a gigantic fungus friend. What else is going on? Alright, so we can exile things. I'm fine with that. I'll exile my Bramble Familiar so you get a little bigger. And our opponent's going to leave the game. Probably because we have an army of 1/1s and we're having a lot of fun. Killed their commander a bunch. GG. Nice serious face. I have to remember what we did so I can write it down face. Mondrak Glory Dominus. Makes more tokens. Double the tokens, in fact, and can become indestructible. Well, let me seize those thoughts so I can thoughts those seizes. What do we have here? Catcher's Monument. Okay, Mindset. Welcome. Banner. And Rabble Rousing. A lot of these are very good. But only one of them can be played on turn 2, so I'm going to hit their turn 2 play, as they only have 2 lands in hand, so I can, fingers crossed, cut them off from actually doing anything. That'd be rude. There's nothing for me to hit with the Virtue. I'm just going to grab a bit of green mana here off Riveteer's Overlook. And because they don't have any removal in hand that I know about, I will play Mycotyrant. We do know they drew another land, though, since we still see that Field of Ruin. Heraldic Banner, choosing white. Gotta make things extra strong. And I'm going to play Rankle, swinging in with both. And choosing discard. Each player is going to discard here. I'm going to drop my Llanowar Waste. It's a permanent. They dropped Teferi's Protection, and we get a Fungi! A Fungus. Okay, a Fungus, multiple Fungi. Rabble Rousing only triggers on attack, but it will get them something for free once they go super wide. Do I have anything cool to bring back in my graveyard? I do not. Not yet. Let's see if we can change that. I'm going to play Matsalantli. Just watch me just struggle with that name. It's all removal. I'm gonna drop the Virtue of Persistence. It's a permanent. I'm going to bolt this in. Attack with everything. Boom, boom, pow. I'm just done. Make a friend. So I don't know if they're going to go for a monument before Mondrak. They are. That means my edict will be less effective, but Rankle will still be able to do some co-op play. Activate the door! Drop the booties. Attack with everything. Boom, boom, pow. discard and draw. Discarding that forest. Getting a little Lily. Going to play this Lily instead so I can plus. That does mill for us, which is great for the Mycotyrant. A bunch of Lilianas, by the way, go super well with this deck because they put stuff in our graveyard. And the more things in our graveyard, the more fun we're having with fungi. Arcane Signet, and here comes Mondrak! Nothing is going to be attacking this turn, though. None of these have haste. Let's see, any creatures I can bring out. I'm so bad at getting creatures this time. One moment, please. Still no creatures, but I think we're going to have a lethal swing. Just going through with a very wide, trampling Mycotyrant. Also, 4 damage in the air because Rankle says, draw a card, lose a life. GG. He's big, he is green, he's Vorinclex. This hand does not have any black mana in it. But it does have a really, really fun card, Mesmeric Orb, and we have Bramble Familiar too as another turn 2 play. I'm going to keep this, cross my fingers, and hope that we get a swamp or something similar so we can get out Mycotyrant as we mill ourselves into oblivion with this orb. We will also be, by the way, milling our opponents. Mesmeric Orb. Hey, do you have a permanent? Does it untap? Well, you're a ramp deck, so you're going to be tapping and tapping and slapping and slapping. And I'm just out here to have fun. Yum, yum, yum. I could use that swamp. We'll play Shigeki, I think, over Bramble Familiar here. And I'm also going to tap this forest. Am I enjoying Mr. Tyrant? I want to mill myself as much as possible. Nice. If they play a land, they're going to be getting a treasure token. I want to tap my forest. I put a stop in their end step so I could do it. Yeah! My turn! Mill, mill, mill. Mill, 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 mill. Don't mind me, just filling up my graveyard. We're going to use this Generous Ent, which is a permanent being put into our graveyard. And we're going to grab our Shock Land, because we're allowed to do that. It is a forest. And bring out Mycotyrant. Mycotyrant says, oh my gosh, that was a lot of mill, isn't it? Sure was. We now have 4 little buddies and a 5/5 with trample. Oh gosh, just think about next turn. It's gonna be so good. Oh, Bobby, thank you for raiding. Bobby, are you ready to see Mycotyrant go wild with some Mesmeric Orb? Green, by the way, they don't really mind being self-milled. There are some ways to bring things back. Oh no! Mike! Mike, no! Alright, now we're on Operation Rampant Hoof. Which, I mean, they're a mono green deck. They are also on Operation Rampant Hoof. Would you stop that? Mike Elk Tyrant. I do have some ways to destroy this, but I'm not happy about it. I'm milling, I'm having a good time, I'm vibing, I'm chilling, I'm hanging. Okay, I'm gonna play Kaga. Kaga's just kind of neat here. Because I can use this to play 1 card and only 1 card. I'll hold this here. I was thinking, like, do I want to swing in with everything? Just in case we free our Mycotyrant next turn. Yeah, so I can play 1 land or permanent spell that I put into my graveyard each turn with Kaga. Kaga's not, like, broken or overpowered, but she's cool. This is just, like, enough for me to be like, oh, you mill and get Death Touch when you attack in, too? That's neat. This is a neat card. And this is like a good place to put it. Ooh, a Fierce Empath. Oh, no. Oh, no. They're closer to Hoof than I am. Oh, Ulamog. That ain't no Hoof. It is scary, though. I'm gonna let, our good friend Mycotyrant perish here. Prevent 3 damage. Move my commander to the command zone? Yes! We're going to do a big mill. Boop, 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 boop. They could have an instant speed fight. They do have 3 mana here. They can also hit things in my graveyard, but they can't do it if I've already selected to play them or cast them, because then they're moved onto the stack or onto the battlefield. Skullspore Nexus, okay. Wrenn and Seven, Restless Cottage, Vraska Golgari Queen. Many of these are very good cards. I think I'm going to go with the kind of most basic thing here. The Swamp. Just making sure I have enough here. Not quite as much as I would have liked. I'm going to play Mycotyrant. Play the Cottage instead. I'm just looking at the amount that my mana adds up to. May as well mill a little bit more. If they want to trade, that's cool too. And if I wanted to be really cheeky, I could attack with all of these to get a turbo mill for next turn, but I feel like it's not going to make as much of a difference. We just want Mycotyrant here, probably going to be exiled to Ulamog to spit out a ton of these little tokens. Yeah, Kaga has a card for those Baldur's Gate nerds out there. What did I mill? More guys. All right, so now we have a 12/12 Mycotyrant. They have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, potentially 10, 11 off a landfall here. We know they have a land. What do you hit? Definitely Mycotyrant. Maybe Mycotyrant in the land? Maybe Kaga. Yeah, okay, Mycotyrant and Kaga are going to be exiled. Move my commander to the command zone. Yes, please. We are currently at 6 mana, and we need 8 for the Hoof. This, by the way, exiles cards. It doesn't mill them. We can still, like, block and bounce with Shigeki, trying to mill and ramp off that ability. We're so good at milling ourselves. We're just so talented here. I think Bramble Familiar gives me the highest chance of winning next turn. I don't have a lethal swing, by the way, off like going in and meat hook massacring them. If they had less life, that was a possibility. Yeah, if they weren't gaining life off the Great Henge. Watch them just hoof us here. That's what I'm afraid of. Hey guys, how are you doing? Give him the meaty hook. Oh. Hi. You there? Vorinclex? I'm gonna crack open a cold one. It's a Diet Coke. Special treat. A special treat for fun guys. Yeah, Metric Master can be a win con in this deck by just, like, swinging in and killing your own dudes over and over. Hi, Nissa! They untap a forest. Oh, look! You untapped a permanent! Mill! Yeah, that's a hoof. They still would have been able to do this for X equals 8 if I had killed Nissa before she untapped. Assuming, of course, they have a hoof in their deck, which they're a Vorinclex deck. They dang better have a hoof! They don't. It's, Oyer Caslim, Deepest Growth. Okay. No trample. No trample. No trample. Trample, we're super dead anyway. But oh, what a time it was. GG Vorinclex and the race to the big green boys. Ivy, Gleeful, Spell Thief. Ivy cares about single targeting spells because she doubles them, targeting herself, but only if you want to. If you, like, cast a kill spell on your opponent's card, she will be like, I could have that too, and you have to be like, no, Ivy, no, Ivy, I don't copy the Power Word kill onto yourself. But she's like, please, can I have a Power Word kill on myself? No, Ivy. Stop asking. Ooh, Paradise Druid. Good. A romp. I'm gonna put some stuff into my graveyard. Kinda like some good sacrifice off the priest here. I'll offer them a trade with our Deathbonnet Sprout. I don't think they'll take it. And I see they have a Scales here, so probably looking to put a bunch of +1/+1 counters onto Ivy. Mutate does work well with Ivy. So what are they going to do? They're going to explore. That's great. So we did just get a bunch of new explore cards, many of which do target. But a lot of them are targeting abilities. Ooh, good auras. Auras, I see the Curious Obsession on top. We have milled a card! Excellent. I have to decide between just, like, hit Ivy with the Baleful Mastery or go for some sweet, sweet sacrifice. Sweet, sweet sacrifice! I know what I want. I'm going to put an end step stop here because we're going to be doing multiple pieces. No attacks. Actually, I can't attack with that. It would be the same because it would go to my graveyard. Mycotyrant says, oh my, what a friend I'll brew. We're going to sacrifice these two. To sacrifice probably Llanowar Elves on their end. That'll give me 2 floatin' black mana, which I can use for Baleful Mastery, targeting Ivy. There is no Ivy, and there's never been an Ivy. And I didn't do that on their turn because Ivy decks tend to be very good at protecting themselves. Either having ways to phase out, give hexproof, and everything like that. Things like Siren Stormtaper, which can sacrifice to counter certain spells and abilities. A poor lonely Mycotyrant. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I have choices now. I'm gonna go with Slimefoot into a land. What did we get? Deathbonnet Sprout, Spore Swarm, or Verdant Embrace. I'm going to play the Deathbonnet Sprout that we just generated. I'm going to use the Priest to sacrifice these two fun guys. They could counter that if they had blue mana up, but they don't. Get a land, use it to play a friend. The friend is dummy thick. And bring back more Fungus. I feel like a real sacrifice deck right here. Next turn we'll have up to 5 mana. Or more with the Priest. I'm thinking we could use the Fiend Artisan to sacrifice a Fungus and tutor for something out of our library. What do I want? Chupacabra. I want Chupacabra. I want Chupacabra. So I do have to attack this turn. They will draw a card, though. Do I feel like double blocking this? I really want to do the Chupacabra thing. You can draw a card. But only because I know what I want. And it's violence. Ooh, even more. We're going to sacrifice these two Fungus. Delightful Halfling, or Delighted Halfling is like, wait, why am I still out here? Don't worry, sweetie. You'll find out soon. You'll find out real soon. She's going to die. Nice. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or do I want to go for 5 for the other Sheoldred? 5 for the other Sheoldred. 5 Delighted Halfling. Wait, what? No! Hey, Ruben! Thank you so much for the sub. Oh, Vorinclex also gets me lands. No, we're gonna go for Sheoldred. I was thinking, like, Vorinclex has reach. Vorinclex does have reach. Pass the turn. Ba-bam! Get a friend. Uh-oh, scale up! Ivy is a 7/5 swinging in. The orb. Replace some of this. A little bit of these. Swinging in with all these guys. Having fun and eating French fries. We'll lose another 2 life. We'll get this 2 mana. Perfect! For orbs! And the DJ of Forgotten God spins us a sick beat as we play our Miss Magic Orb to bring our opponents defeat. Alright, cool. 1. Davriel. Soul Broker. Hey, Davriel, how are you doing? Are you going to be coming down and making deals? I sure think you will. This is the Davriel that comes down very often, has a offering condition that really has no downside for them. It'll be like, I mill the top 6 cards of my deck. Oh no! And I have all my spells cost less mana for the rest of the game. Oh no! And Inquisition of Kozilek's going to cut us off from our ramp, but it's not going to cut us off from Mesmeric Orb. Hey, you want to see the king of mill? Mesmeric Orb is going to be milling both players, which can get very funny. Mostly us, though. It's mostly us milling ourselves, because the more we mill, the more fungus we get. Why are you looking at my thoughts? Don't. Why are you... Stop that. Stop making me discard, Davriel. Wow. Okay, so in a lot of mono black decks, there are only 3 discard spells I will just toss into decks, and it is those 3. So it's impressive that we saw all 3 of those in a row. Great for us. Yeah, that was discard Tron. What did we mill here? Ashiok and a Swamp. What did we mill here? A couple of little things. So we can get down Mycotyrant next turn. It might just be killed. Hopefully it survives until end step. We milled Onyx, Bakami, and Vorinclex. I'll name black on that. We went first. Satyr Wayfinder. It's more good mill. I'll take it. Just kidding. It's going to go into the graveyard. It's a permanent, though, and I want permanents to go into graveyard. I have very few non-permanent spells in this deck. Don't kill my Mycotyrant. Don't. Let me pass to end step. Thank you. Look at that. Yum, yum, yum. Look at all those fun guys. Hello, Davriel. Your offers and conditions. All right, we gotta pay very close attention here to their offers and conditions. Well, whatever they got, it's not what they wanted. And since we've got our Mesmeric Orb making us quite a few tokens every turn, maybe between 5 and 10 every turn, I think we're good. I think we're gonna win. GG. Our opponent is also a bit of a mushroom head. Hey, how you doing, Mycotyrant? I think that this is an okay hand. We don't have green mana, but we do have the Undead Butler to start putting stuff in our graveyard. We have some removal in the form of the Ravenous Chupacabra, and now Sheoldred's Edict. And though I would rather hold on to the Bojuka Bog to exile the graveyard after they put stuff in it, I also want to make sure that I'm actually getting things done here. Ooh, Cryptolith Rites. Oh, that's a good piece of tech. So the reason they've got the Cryptolith Rites here is almost certainly so they can tap all those teeny tiny tokens for mana. So I'm going to just Edict this. They haven't played a black mana source yet. There's one. Makes it a little harder for them to get that Mycotyrant, but here he is. Mycotyrant. Ready at last. And Mycotyrant is not going to stay on this battlefield very long because I'm going to use Liliana to kill it.
You're telling me. I've always hated crowds.
Goodbye, Mycotyrant. Okay, well, apparently a little bit of removal is all we needed. Good game. So in good news, our opponent is probably going to be putting things in our graveyard. In bad news, they're also going to be stealing lands from our graveyard. And in fact, one of the lands I have in my hand right here is really good for them to steal and sacrifice over and over. Fabled Passage as well. This is a little tricky for us, and we're going to have to be very careful because Soul of Windgrace, upon entering the battlefield or attacking, is a filthy little criminal who's going to steal all my good stuff. Too bad. I know what I want. It's things in the graveyard. Let's get ourselves another black mana source here. You like Bramble Familiar? Me too! It's in this deck, in part because it has this discard and return ability, but also it can mill 7 cards for us. And Mycotyrant likes milling 7 cards. A duress! It can only hit Breach the Multiverse, so it hits Breach the Multiverse, which makes perfect sense to me. I'm thinking we can bring out Mycotyrant. Or do I just feel like double spell in this turn? Or just Yawgmoth. Let's just bring out Yawgmoth. Yawgmoth's a really good card. Fabled Passage will come in untapped, or we'll bring the land in untapped next turn. That's part of why I'm timing it like this. Druid class. Very classy. This can let them play additional lands per turn. We open! Grab another black mana source. And I'll bring down Mycotyrant and a friend artisan. Boop. We got ourselves a friend, a fungus, a little fella. And while our opponent almost certainly can be just rampant and going wild this turn, I'm hopeful that we will just be able to take out Soul of Windgrace, and even if it comes back and back and back, Yawgmoth will also do some work in taking it out. So they're gonna steal, I think do you hit the Riveteer's Overlook here because it gains you a life and you're not using the mana? I like Riveteer's Overlook over Fabled Passage, but it does depend on how they want the mana next turn. Yeah, Riveteer's Overlook comes down, leaves, gets him another land. Sorry, Yawgmoth was holding priority. Dang it, Yoggles. Hoggling and yoggling. Aw, Illuminati, thank you for the hundo biddies. Oh, this is even easier.
T cheered. X100. Opponent is left without mushroom to maneuver.
Liliana says, "Be gone, Professor Catface Meowmers." I'm gonna play a Bramble Familiar and hope that they don't have a board wipe, and then I'm going to swing in with everything. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Nothing got put into my graveyard. I did play a land this turn, right? I didn't! One moment, please. I am going to submit 0. I'm going to start by sacrificing this. Okay, cool. A land. Do I also want to sacrifice, like, a permanent? No, not yet. I figured, like, the trading a fungus up seems good. I want to make sure I'm hitting stuff each turn. If they do go for a board wipe, at least I can sacrifice everything to Yawgmoth and refill my hand. Yawgmoth is a hog moth. We've got 5 mana. And a lightning bolt! I'll pay 1 life, target nothing, sacrifice the Fiend Artisan. Sadly, Mycotyrant will not be seeing that as a descend this turn, because it's only on our end step. Oh, the Dryad. Can I just play everything out here? Oh, I totally can. I have to be careful here. Starless. Use a green. I'm gonna make sure it's holding up black mana. Good. We're gonna hit the Druid class on this. Sheoldred's Edict on you. Non-token creature, please. Thank you. We'll Bojuka their Bog. We didn't need to use the halfling. That's fine. It's 1 less damage. And we each discard a card, but my hand is empty, my head is empty, and all I know in this world is hitting you. I didn't actually put anything in my graveyard that turn because I very effectively played everything out. Oh no, he's hot. Meow. I'm kind of glad that we got more big kitty men, some Leonin. We got the, what are they called, Malamute on Ixalan. Hello, Outland Liberator. You were in one of my early builds for this deck. Oh, you were talking about the Dadbod Dryad. Yeah, I also feel that. They didn't want me to get a land. I don't need a land. I just need a hoof. Kaboom, baby! Swinging in for lethal! Bam! Green stuff. Tovalor, Dire Overlord! He-a-woos just for yous! Tovalor is the werewolf commander who cares about when wolves or werewolves hit your opponent right in the face. Go ahead and bring our Turn Timber tapped. We don't have to pay 3 life on it. Technically have something I can do here. It's a swamp cycling. And I may want to do that just to get myself another land in hand, since we have some pretty costly stuff here. Okay, Duskwatch Recruiter. We'll do this just while I have the mana up. I think I'll grab my Shock Land, since it is both a swamp and a forest. And my cup full of flippin' frogs just fell on the floor. So I guess I've got that going on in my life. Duskwatch Recruiter, pretty good value, a nice werewolf, and also being sacrificed to Liliana of the Veil. Ooh, a Reckless Stormseeker does give itself or another creature haste, so they'll be able to take out Liliana here. I feel like that's 3 damage not hitting my face. I'm a fan of that. But it also tells me that next turn they could play Tovalor and give him haste, which I'm a little worried about. Just a little. I'm going to play this Phyrexian Tower. No, Mr. Video Game. Do not use it to cast the Satyr Wayfinder. Satyr Wayfinder, come on down. Grab me a land from those 4 cards. Impressively, we did hit 2 of our non-permanents there. I'm going to sacrifice the Satyr Wayfinder. Play the Mycotyrant. And get ourselves some Fungus. This way, if they go for Tovalor, Tovalor will come down and hit me, but the Reckless Stormseeker and Tovalor won't both be attacking me. At least, I don't think so. They could also just use removal if they, like, played a land. Lightning Bolt. What a cool guy. They've got 4 mana up. 4 mana is enough mana to play most Awoos. Aw, Moonraider Slash. So it is a bolt. Llanowar Elves. Bit of ramp. Give it haste. Yeah! That way they're attacking for 4 damage instead of just 3. I do like Blossoming Tortoise. It fills up my graveyard nicely. I'm going to start with an attack, though. Blossoming Tortoise. I was thinking about bringing this out instead in the middle. We ended up milling Arboreal Grazer and Skullspore Nexus. Tortin over here, like a tortellini. Tovalor down! Tovalor up? Just putting the buff on the Reckless Stormseeker. And swing in. I'm not going to trade with my Blossoming Tortoise. They currently don't have 3 or more wolves/werewolves. But off 2 green mana, they could definitely play one here. Didn't have it. Right now, we are able to hoof, but I don't think that it's the best move. Instead, I'm going to go for a Virtue, using Locktwain Scorn, hit Tovalor. They could have a protective spell here. If they do protect this, by the way, by, like, giving Hexproof, or... yeah, it would have to be Hexproof. This will go to my graveyard and will count towards Mycotyrant. No, they're going to give 2 +1/+1 counters. Nice. Still going to attack in with Blossoming Tortoise then, since 3/3 versus a 2/2 until end of turn. Ooh, which would I rather have? I'll grab the Lair of the Hydra for now. It's going to hold priority obnoxiously. It's just what it does. Sanguine Brushstroke. Dropping this Riveteer's Overlook. Cool. I also thought about, instead of doing that, throwing down Mycotyrant, since we did put a good number of things into our graveyard. Next turn, I am looking at a maybe hoof, maybe Mycotyrant, maybe both. Lead the Stampede! Gives them a whole bunch of creatures, if there's a bunch of creatures in the top 5 cards of their deck. There was one, but it's a puppy! He's just a little guy. The sweetest little tenaciousness pup you've ever seen. I love doing like turn 1 tenacious pup into a Tovalor. Getting that big buff on him. I will. This is 8 damage. Not going to block any of it. They draw 2 cards. A stampeding puppy. Oh, a woo. Well, hey. And a woo to you, too. I'm just gonna hoof. Because it wins the game. It's a good card. Does your deck go wide at all? Crater Hoof Behemoth. We gain 1 extra life. I just clicked on whatever random land. I'm swinging for 30-ish damage. Definitely enough to kill them. Good game. Omnath! Locus of the Royal! They're about to royal and roll with some landfall. Omnath on landfall gets a +1/+1 counter onto an elemental, usually itself. And on top of that, big old bonus, once you have 8 or more lands, it's drawing cards on landfall, which is crazy good on top of all the colors it's got. Ooh, okay. Yeah, I'm definitely seeing some things that get lands here. I have to decide what I want to hit here. Because that Brotherhood's End is quite good against all the things I'm planning on playing. So I'm going to hit that. Also thought about maybe hitting like Growth Spiral, since that's a good turn 2 play for them. I will now exile the 1 card in your graveyard. I never want to see it again. Never, ever, ever. I kind of like Elspeth's Nightmare to attack their hand next turn. Or Wrenn and Realmbreaker just to get it out, since they don't have any Planeswalker hate right here. And then lead into Mycotyrant on the minus next turn. So we're going to plus. Not doing anything with it because it doesn't untap the land. They Growth Spiral. Does the land come into play? It does. Okay, so they did draw a land. Here comes Omnath, also going to deal 1 damage on enter the battlefield for the number of elementals they control, which is 1. Great. Wrenn and Realmbreaker, we minus. I want that orb. Ooh, I very much do want that orb. Orb with Mycotyrant is just... It's just a gleeful time. Truly one of my favorite things in this deck. Now we've got 3 things gone into our graveyard. Mycotyrant comes out. Becomes a 4/4, bringing some Fungus friends. Near 4/4 as well, I see. Maybe more. If they Dire Strain Rampage, they'll be turning 1 land into 2. So my guess is they want to attack Wrenn and Realmbreaker, and I think it's fine if Wrenn and Realmbreaker dies here. I feel like I want to keep my Mycotyrant alive, especially if I'm getting down that orb next turn. You know I want to get down that orb next turn. A generous Ent. This will do more mill on this turn. This is the setup. They do have Broken Bond, though. Too bad. This isn't hitting anything. I'm hitting their face. So they're gonna mill a little. But me and my many fungi, I'm hoping to mill a lot. So Broken Bond, by the way, that's destroying an artifact or enchantment. Artifact, enchantment. I'm kind of hoping that they go for the bait of, oh, please hit my Elspeth's Nightmare. It's gonna make you discard something and then exile your graveyard otherwise. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Alright, so they started with an Escape to the Wilds. That's going to get them extra lands this turn and 5 cards, which will be doing some stuff next turn. I kind of hope that they go for another land into something else. Okay, so they they went for that, allowing me to do the Extreme Turbo Mega Ultra Super Mill off that Mesmeric Orb. And oh man, I'm getting hyped. Couple triggers. Just a few. Don't you mind me. I'm a little afraid now that they have like an unsummon. Don't you mind me and my orb. I am having lots of fun. Look at my orb. Look at my orb. Look at my orb. Look at my orb. Putting things in the graveyard. Look at my orb. Look at my orb. Look at my orb. Look at my orb. I'll go for the Restless Cottage. Just for, let's say the sake of maximum Mycotyrant. Okay. Look at my orb. Look at my orb. Look at my orb. Look at my orb. Oh, they're mesmerized by it. They're like, damn. This can also destroy orb, I believe. Yes, it can. I have 1 blocker. They could use the Titan of Industry to destroy, but I feel like I've gotten what I needed out of the orb. I made 13 fungus last turn. 13 of them. Orb, 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 orb. Every borby. The orb did its jorb. It really did. Omnath is now approaching, by the way, lethal. Just put that Epiphany in the graveyard. Hey, Titan of Industry. Gonna gain life. Hit this. Make a Rhino hit this. Are you hitting this at all? They're gaining life, making a Rhino. And I think they're gonna have to stay back with everything. I didn't bother tapping my land there for 1 extra mill. I'm gonna be honest, I don't think I need it. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I don't think I need it. Play a land, animate the Restless Cottage, and swing in with this. I guess I can hit the Dire Strain Rampage since we see it in their graveyard. We mill. I'll grab. I don't know, they all come in tapped. Forsaken Crossroads. It gets me a Scry. I'm gonna name red on it because why not? No. So we have a 17/17 with Trample, 16 1/1s, a 3/3, and a 5/5. By the way, this is a 5/5 because of the Blossoming Tortoise, who gives my land creatures +1/+1. And it's definitely lethal. Good game, Omnath. Thank you so much for watching this fungus-filled episode of Brawl Stars. If you ever want to stop by my stream, say hi, and see as we record these, come on over to twitch.tv/Amazonia, where I stream almost every single day. It's my main channel, so it's where I do most things, and I even take suggestions for what decks we build next. You're also welcome to leave a suggestion of a new commander or a commander you'd like to see updated in the comment section below. If you're looking for the deck list, I'll have it in the description, so you too can build the Mycotyrant. And if you choose to build this deck in another fun way, let me know. Personally, I saw some really cool cards that I didn't include in this, like Lich King's Mastery, I think is what it was called. Lets you sacrifice those fungus tokens to do mass reanimation. I feel like you could go all in on fungus and have a fun time with that. Or maybe you're looking to really get into sacrifice and build a deck that's more similar to my Smeagol deck, which it sacrifices a lot of creatures and it's a lot of fun. Thank you so much for watching this video and have a brawlful day.